Welcome everyone. So we have today Olivia Belbín. She's a researcher focused on the integration of proteomics and system biology to detect early pathways of Alzheimer's disease. She holds a PhD in molecular biomedical science from University of Nottingham and did a 3-year postdoctoral stay at Mayo Clinic in US, where she focused her research on identifying genetic risk factors for Alzheimer's disease. In 2011, she joined the memory unit at the Research Institute SANT PAU, and the talk we want to do today is about the patent of 9 proteins used as biomarkers for early cognitive degenerative diagnosis. Her technology, even though it was at an early stage of development, has been transferred into the market in a hybrid model, collaboration and license agreement. Welcome.
Thank you.
Why did you decide to patent these proteins?
Well, it wasn't actually something that we considered at the beginning of the project. It was a research project with the aim of detecting synaptic proteins in cerebrospinal fluid that could inform on the state of synapses in the brain. So it was a research project, and we identified 9 proteins that showed these changes very early on in the disease process. Mm-hmm. And at that point, there were no immunoassays available to quantify these proteins. So we were limited to detecting these proteins by mass spectrometry, which is a very laborious process. So we decided that actually transferring this assay to an immunoassay would be necessary. And in order to do that, we would have to invest a lot of time and money into developing antibodies for the 9 proteins. So we had to prioritize the markers that were most interesting. And the patent helped us in 2 ways. First of all, the patent meant that we would have exclusivity for developing these assays, and this meant that we felt more comfortable investing so much time and resources into developing these assays without being usurped by a bigger research group or a biotech company. And the second is that by patenting the proteins, it creates interest from the biotech partners to license these proteins. So this meant that we could look into licensing the proteins, which is actually what happened in the end. And so this was the 2 main reasons why we thought that patenting these proteins was really important.
Great. How was the process? Like, did you got support from the innovation unit throughout the process of production?
Yes, so absolutely. I mean, I didn't have much experience in knowledge transfer at this point. We identified these proteins and we spoke to the innovation department, and they were very enthusiastic about the project. So they helped shepherd us through the process, putting us in touch with the patent attorneys who then drafted the manuscript. And so they also, not only that, but they helped us draft research grants for knowledge transfer grants, and also helped us negotiate the license. In
your experience, was it easy to patent the process itself?
From the researcher's point of view, the process was relatively simple. So all we had to do was provide 2 figures of the data that we wanted to patent, and from there the patent attorneys took over. They developed a strategic plan, and they drafted the patent application, which we then revised for scientific content. So from my point of view, it was relatively simple, but it took longer than I thought. I originally believed would be the case.
But you got a lot of guidance throughout the process.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. As a researcher, what would you change to make it easier?
I think from the time that we generated the data to the filing of the patent application took us 18 months, and in that time, to protect the novelty of the proteins, we were unable to disclose the name of these proteins in scientific meetings or in publications. So this meant there was 18 months where my research CV looked relatively empty. So for me, it would have been better that this would have been a faster process. I think there are very many factors involved in the speed of that process, and the communication between the researcher and the innovation department is vital to that. So since then, I've done a lot of courses. I've informed myself on the process, so that I think if I were to do the process again, this communication, I would feel much more in control of the process, and there would be better communication in order to facilitate this.
Okay, great. In terms of the company that has the license now, how did you meet them?
We first met them at a scientific conference in 2016. They approached us, for they were interested in our research in biomarkers field in general. And they also saw some of our preliminary data. This was still at the discovery phase at this point. So we signed a confidentiality agreement with them, and we discussed in more detail the project, and they expressed their interest in licensing the patents. So as soon as the patent application was filed, we were able to sign a license agreement with them.
Okay. And are you happy with the agreement that you have right now with them?
Absolutely, yes. The license, without the license agreement, it would have been a much slower process.
Yeah.
So ADX took a calculated risk in signing this agreement. So it has benefited us a lot, this license agreement. And the fact that we have this license means that we can get an advance payment on royalties that we would receive, and it means we don't have to wait until they potentially arrive to market before getting some sort of economic income
for the group. What does the agreement offer you in your daily life at the lab?
So outsourcing the development of the antibodies and assays to a third party has meant that we don't have to spend our resources on doing this, and we can actually focus on the important thing, which is generating more data on the biomarkers. And because it's now the patent has been already applied for, we're free to publish these data, and so we can generate interest in the field. And getting these data out into the public domain is really important to increase the interest in the biomarkers and to attract further investment.
Because you think that they will develop your technology, no? Recently,
we already have prototype assays available, and we hope that we will have several over the course of the project, and that these will arrive to market, first of all for research use, but the end goal is that they will be approved for the in vitro diagnostic market.
And how do you feel about that your research will arrive to the market, to society?
I mean, that's the end goal of any researcher, to actually get the transfer to the clinical setting. So if we can achieve this and actually impact on patients' lives, that this is the main objective of any research project. So I'd be incredibly proud if we can reach that point.
Yeah. So to close up, what tip would you give to a fellow researcher that are in doubt in this patenting yes, patenting no? What would you say then?
Get informed. Basically, I think from the researcher's point of view, the earlier we are informed on the process. So there are many decisions that need to be taken very early on, for example, licensing versus spin-off. And the better informed you are earlier on in the process, the easier that will be. I was personally surprised with how little data you actually need to get the process going, to apply for the patent. So I would recommend they follow courses, get informed on all of the options available, and once they're informed on that, they can communicate very early on with the innovation department and have this, even before the intellectual property is developed, know what the process to follow is, and this will make it so much easier for everybody to get the transfer.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. And we hope to see you soon at the unit.
Thank you.